Today I wanted to chat with you about motivation. So we are talking about motivation because motivation is something that can come and go, ebb and flow so often, especially as a creative. We can get really caught up on this stream of just creating and forget to do, some of the business stuff over here, and then we get sidetracked and go back to the business stuff, and then we forget about the creativity, and then really we can just split the stream and lose all motivation and just kind of want to hang out. So sometimes when we're looking at bringing those streams back together and coming back onto that path of motivation, we just need a few little tips to help get you there. So I have a list here of a whole bunch of different motivational tips that you can use to apply to your day, whether you're a musician or whether you are in another type of business, you work for yourself, you work from home. Sometimes we need that motivation. So the first one is embrace self-compassion. Remember, you're human. Creativity comes and flows. Don't be so hard on yourself. Sometimes when we hit a wall with a creative block, we can be really hard on ourselves, and that can stop the motivation. I know as a songwriter and artist, if you're working on something and it's just not flowing how you want it to flow or going how you want it to go, it's really easy for yourself to just want to kind of turn off and stop and not want to continue down feeling like motivated and wanting to continue. So take a moment and remember, hey, I'm just human, and that's okay if I'm not feeling it right now. Take a break, and that's okay. The next thing is reflect on your why. So when you're feeling stumped, it's always really good to come back to, why did I start doing this? Why am I doing this? What is it that lights me up? Why did I start? I find whenever I'm stuck on something or just not feeling levels of success, we can feel like, I've tried so hard and I just keep hitting a wall. Why am I even doing this? You can get really frustrated and just want to stop. But instead of getting frustrated, stopping, get frustrated, stop and breathe, and then reflect back on your why. Why did I start doing this? Why am I a musician? Why do I do these things every day to better myself and to inspire myself? Why do I love music? Come back to those whys and kind of interview yourself. If you were in an interview and someone asked you, why did you get started in music? What's that answer? What does that sound like? And try to remind yourself of that answer when you're thinking about why you started. That's a good little tip. The next one would be seek inspiration from other people and things that are around you. So it's really easy, especially with social media, to get caught up in this game of comparison, right? Who has not felt like that, right? I mean, we've all gone online and compared ourselves to someone else and thought, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough, I'm not good enough, I'm failing, why am I doing this? They're doing so much better, or blah, 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 blah. That's all just that little Gertrude is what I call my little ego on the side. We want to put Gertrude in a box because comparison is just not going to get you anywhere that you want to go. So the only thing you should compare is to your past self, and you always want to grow. So that's another little tool I like to think about with, if you're going to compare yourself to anyone, have it be to who you are yesterday, and have you grown, and are you on the path to where you want to go in life is really important. So instead of going down that comparison route, I want you to surround yourself with people that lift you up, the green flag people, right? The people that make you laugh, the people that you leave feeling energized from, the people that spark your creativity, the people that nurture all the things that you love. And that will really help kind of get you back onto your path if you're feeling stuck. Establishing a routine. Consistency is something that really helps keep motivation going, right? It's kind of like when you work out. If you work out one day, you work out and you want to work out the next day, but you don't, you skip it. And then the next day you're like, oh, well, I skipped it yesterday, so I'll just skip it again today. So they say that it's okay if you skip a day, as long as you do it the next day. When you start skipping 3 days in a row, I'm not saying you have to work out every day, just more so any kind of routine. If you want to make a daily practice of it, it's good to get in the habit of consistency. So even if it's like, oh, I want to do something, 3 times a week, and you do it only twice a week, 1 week, well, make sure the next week you do it 3 times a week again. Otherwise, you're going to develop a habit of doing it twice a week instead of 3 times. So really start to think about the things that you can make a little consistent in your world. So maybe it's songwriting. Songwriting is it's a tool that we have, and it's kind of like a muscle. And if you're not constantly building it, you can takes a little bit longer to get back into the flow of things. So if you have a goal of writing, 20 songs this year, just say, try to stick to that, or keep that muscle engaged every day. Maybe write a new riff, write a new lyric in your journal, or just something that you can inspire yourself with to keep that writing flow. It's the same thing, nutrition. If there's something that you're trying to cut out of your world, maybe you have a gluten sensitivity and it doesn't make you feel very good, but you're so used to eating it, and so you eat it anyways, even though it makes you feel bad, but you really want to cut it out. Try cutting it out, in little increments. Just try to decrease little step and a little step, and then that's the compound effect, but in reverse. So cutting things out just a little bit at a time can also help. Another thing, you want to drink more water, right? Just start with drinking 1 extra glass a day. You don't have to drink 4 a day right away, right? We don't need to go to the final result. We can start small and let that grow. So that's all about establishing a routine, and I could go on and on and on about this, but I'm trying to keep this to a minimum and go through everything on my list here. Breaking it down, breaking your big goal down. So sometimes we get frustrated over a big goal. We're like, we're just not there. I've been working so hard and I'm not there. How do I get there? Why am I not achieving my result? If you're feeling like that, break it down. So where's the big goal? What are the little goals that are going to take us to this top piece, right? Wow. Now, once we start looking at all the little pieces, you can start to celebrate your wins because you did this little thing. You did it. Celebrate. Woo. And then move on to the next one. Celebrate. Woo. And then you're going to start to feel some forward motion towards your bigger goal. And then all of a sudden you're going to hit your big goal, and then you can really celebrate because you've set those incremental, small, tiny micro goals on your way there. Okay. And those can be, small things, big things, whatever it is. The goals are so different for everybody, but you can apply that to any kind of goal that you have. Engage in self-care. I can't stress this enough. The Artist Wellness Collective is all about self-care. It's about taking care of you as a human so that you can apply that wonderful human to your artistry. And if we don't take care of ourselves, then we are just not going to be good for anyone. And it's so important that we take care of ourselves first and foremost. And that's not just eating well, that's not just exercising, although those two are so important, but that's, taking the time to meditate, journal, to drink your water, to eat the proper nutrients that your body needs. And remember, every person is different. So what works for this person might not be the plan that works for you and might not work for the next person. So really dialing into what is your specific self-care routine, because it's so different, and humans, we are all programmed a little bit differently, even though there's a common thread in all the things we need to do to take care of ourselves. There's still just a secret recipe for each and every one of us. So really start to dial in, what truly lights me up and makes me feel good and is nurturing to my soul, so that I can take care of me, so that I can show up on stage and I can show up to my rehearsals, I can show up to events and be the best, brightest, shiniest version of myself. Once you start tapping into those self-care things and start practicing them and start making them part of your routine, as we discussed earlier, then you'll just find you'll have more energy and more vibrance in your life, just in general. And then that obviously bleeds into your performing and how you show up as an artist, and people can see that. So we want you to shine bright, right? Your authentic self, shine bright. Exploring new experiences, that's something else that can really help with motivation. Getting back to the motivating thing, we can be inspired by other people, by other events. You can go to events. You can really just tap into something different that you have never done before. Go see a different kind of movie. Go see a different kind of genre of music. Do something that you wouldn't typically do that puts you outside of your box. And that is when we typically find ourselves lighting up, is when we're out of our comfort zone. So new experiences, and then celebrate your progress. That really helps with motivation. I think sometimes it's very easy to be really hard on ourselves and to forget to celebrate even the smallest little things. So if you conquered even just the smallest thing on your to-do list today, I want you to celebrate that. Celebrate your win. We have a thing every week. Darren and I celebrate our weekly wins on Fridays. We always sit down and go through what happened in the week and make sure that we give attention and acknowledge the little things, the big things, and celebrate those wins so that we can take that energy and bring it into the rest of our week. So there you go. There's a few tips on what you can do to help you stay motivated. Stay tuned. I'll be back with more. Have a wonderful night, and I look forward to chatting with you guys very soon. If you have any questions about the Artist Wellness Collective, please feel free to send us a DM or comment here below, and I'd be happy, or Rachel or I would be very happy to get back to you and share a little bit more information about what we're doing here. And yeah, so have a great night, and I'll see you guys soon.